day. How's your day going? How are you today? Welcome to Konvos with Kerry. I'm gonna write down what is the conversation topic for tonight. Hi, healthy friendships. I'm just pinning the conversation topic tonight. So then we'll get started. Wait for our guests to come on. Let's talk. How's everybody's day today? How's everybody doing? I'm shushing. I always shush at the beginning. And then I'll wait for people to come on. And then we'll get into our topic tonight. Hi, real cute girl, Ysemia. I accept you. Did it work? Oh, please don't give me any technical difficulties today. Is it working? Okay, good. Thanks. Hi.
Hi.
Hey. Let's just check the quality and stuff. Just talk a little.
Filter on because I'm so tired and oh God, I'm tired.
Say it again.
I need to put a filter on because I'm exhausted. For a long week. I don't put on no makeup. So
You
then
know I love a filter, so do what you need to do.
my head.
I love the hair. It looks so cute.
Thank you.
But there's echoing, Sean. Are you in your headphones?
1 second.
Okay.
Pardon?
Are you echoing? Say it again. Talk.
What did you say?
Talk.
I'm talking.
How was your day?
Oh, it was fine.
Okay, you're good. It was echoing before, so I just wanted to see if it was still echoing.
It was probably just because of
You were just changing
I
things.
wasn't in the headphones. So
Oh, okay. Let me while you figure out what filter you want, let me see if I can get Amira on the line.
Sure.
Oh, I forget her name on here. You see how these oh gee,
On where?
on Instagram.
You're lucky I survived. I made it.
Oh, I'm sending Angie a request too. And Amira. I forget Amira's
Hey, Delisha.
I can't see comments. Oh, there. I
Hi,
see it.
Tessa. Hi. I'm drinking such
Hi,
a minute.
Jay. Hi, Delisha.
Oh, oh Lord. This little stand is not working. I feel like I'm so. Oops. Oh, no, no,
Okay,
no.
so I'll do my little thing as we wait for the others to come in. Hi, my name is Kerry Wilson, and this is Convos with Kerry. It happens every Thursday, except well, 3 Thursdays out of the month. I've changed it to 3 Thursdays out of the month at 9 p.m. And I started this little segment on my platform to help Black people come together in the Black community and talk about topics. Hi, Nikki. Talk about topics that are taboo in our community, but also conversations that need to be happening in our community. So I am a behavior management consultant, and I work with children between the ages of 7 to 29, and I support the families in achieving their goals as my business. So if you're interested, please drop me a DM. And if you would like more information about my business, drop me a DM and I will be available to answer any questions. I offer a 15-minute free consultation for anybody who's interested in figuring out if my services suit your life. So tonight we're talking, our conversation is healthy friendships. Let's talk about it because we know there's stereotypes. We're not going to get too into it because we want some people to trickle in first. But if you have any questions or you have any comments, please put them in the question box. There's a question mark thing at the bottom there. If you write your questions there, I'm better going to get to it as the conversation picks up than in the conversation. But feel free to also join in the conversation in the chat as well. So before we get started, I'm going to give Chantel some time to send off her request to other people. I'm going to do the same, and then we'll come back and we'll get started. Come on,
I see
Angie, send me a
Angie.
request. Send me a request, Ange. Oh, there you go. Oh no, sorry, sorry, Naomi. I did the wrong person. Sorry, Naomi. I meant to send a request to Angela. Just deny it. Just ignore it. Angela, send me a request, and I'm waiting for Amira to join.
So I've sent to my PI, I've sent it. I slid into some people's DMs.
Just give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can find Amira's. Hi, Angie Pangie.
What's going on?
Hi, Angie.
Hey.
Hold on a second, Angie. Angie, I'm just giving some time for people to notify their people, let them know that they're on, and then we're good. I'm trying to find my other guest as well.
Okay.
I don't see her yet.
How are you
Okay.
doing this evening, Angie?
I'm good, you know. Just here,
Good.
about to just box my food. I'm so hungry.
I wolfed it down right before this started because I was so
Girl,
hungry.
don't mind me. You might
Ugh.
see me taking a little dibble dabble. So yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
hmm How's everything with you though?
It's been a long, long, long week.
Yeah,
So just one more day, and then I'll be good.
I
But
feel
I
you.
am having a cocktail in my Wonder
Okay,
Woman
big
cup.
up yourself.
Yes.
Go on with the cocktail, them.
I'm living dangerously on a Thursday evening, have a little drink, you know? So it's
Nice,
all good. It's
nice,
all good.
nice, nice, nice.
Oh my gosh. How's your son?
He's good, you know. He's just here playing video games.
Oh, nice. Is he excited that
Mhm.
there's no school?
Sit on the game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Oh my God. I tell you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I can't find her, so I'm just going to get started. We're just going to get started, and we're going to have. Oh,
She's right here.
there, Amira. I thought you were. I thought you were. I thought you were Naomi. Okay, good, good, good. Okay,
Poor
good,
thing.
good. Okay, good, good. Because I was just about to be like, I can't come off and go get you. But what are you wearing? What are you
No,
showing?
I'm just
Oh,
showing
okay.
no
Oh, yeah.
limit vending. So
Yes.
if you want a good vendor, if you need a vendor, if you have a place of business and you need a vendor, no limit vending. That is also the IG. My son drew this logo, so I just have to big him up as well. So
Yeah, man,
that's
big him
all.
up, big him up.
Thank you. Thank you. So you can go into a little bit with in your intro, Sean. You can go over it again in your intro. So please take some time, guys, to introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started with our conversation. Who wants to go first?
Hey, sis. I'll go first since I'm here talking. Don't mind me. I'm eating. I'm eating.
Reggie, you don't need to
Hey.
be this. You don't need to be this close to the camera. You can move back a little bit.
But it's
Leave
just
her.
for the
She's
food right
fine. She
there, you
looks
know?
fine. You look good.
Okay.
You look good. It's all good.
Um, so,
Okay. All
so
right. Go
I'm
ahead,
Angela.
Angie.
But Kerry, what do you want me to say?
Just introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay, so I'm Angela. Sarpang. I'm a hairstylist. I go by Touched by an Angel on IG. If you want your hair done, come get your hair done. I'm experienced. I'm not no new age hairstylist. Come get your hair done.
What do you
and yeah,
specialize in? What do you specialize in? Natural.
I do it. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I specialize. Okay, let's say weaves, ponytails, anything with a weave and extensions, wigs, all of that stuff. Yeah, I do natural
Do you
hair
make
too, but
custom?
you know,
Do you make custom units?
I sure do, girl.
Okay. Get that coin.
Yes, right. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and yeah, that's that. Next person, I guess.
Anyone want to go next?
I could go. So my name is Chantel. And I work at I'm working in a non-for-profit, but I'm actually what I do is I work with the Youth Wellness Hub of Ontario, and I'm the West Quadrant supervisor.
Ray.
Right? So it's a lot, but we specialize in programs for youth. But we do serve 0 to 29. We offer different types of early intervention programs, counseling, parenting programs, youth, a ton of youth group programs. So it's all good. But another business that I want to big up right now is No Limit Vending. So for your vending needs, follow No Limit Vending on IG. So if you have a business, or if you're looking to, if you or you know someone that has a business, vending machines are great. It's always nice to have a snack or a drink. Look up No Limit Vending. And again, I'm going to plug my son, who's a little artist who created this logo. And yes, I'm a mother of 2. And yeah, I'm just here to enjoy the night. Thanks.
Get it.
Hi, my name is
Last but not least.
Amira. I'm a CYW. Right now, I'm employed with Luminous Community Services. Um, I'm also a mom of a mom. I'm a mom of 4. Um, thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. CYW, mom of 4, and
For anybody who doesn't know what a CYW means, it means Child and Youth Worker. And I'll tell you a cute little story about how I know Amira. Amira is actually one of my students who, back in the day, when she was just jumping in a little tadpole in
yeah,
the CYW field. She was my college student, and we've kept in touch all these years. And I think she's amazing, and she's a wonderful mom of 4 little ones. I don't know how she does it, married and still doing this job, which is not easy. CYW is not easy, and so I really love the fact that we're still in contact and she's still doing her thing. So thank you all for joining, and I just appreciate you all coming on. And there's another little tidbit that I want to talk about, or I want to just drop, is Convos with Kerry is actually going to be 1 year on November 17th. So I cannot believe
Big
that
up yourself.
I started this little conversation piece almost a year ago, and I've been pretty consistent, only taking off a few months, pretty consistent of getting topics, getting people to come on and having these well-needed conversations. So we're definitely going to do something. I was going to do like a remix of the beginning, like what wig I was wearing, what shirt.
Don't piss me off.
She said the what wig and shirt. Oh Lord.
What wig, what shirt, and also what guest I had on, which I think I did it wrong because I should have done this when it was actually the anniversary, because I believe it was Chantel and Amira was my first guest.
oh
If I have
wow,
to go back
Oh
Oh,
and
wow.
check.
wow.
I think I have to
Okay.
go back and check, but I think it was Amira and Chantel who were my first guest on my when I started Convos with Kerry. So it's really so cute tonight
Aw.
that you guys are both back on. And when I do the like the 1 year, actually the date, I want you guys to pop in and just, say a little word for me. You don't have to do it now.
yeah,
But I'll be doing that leading up to that days. But I just wanted to put it out there that it's almost a year, people, and I'm
yeah,
almost at 2,000 followers. When I started,
Woo!
I started like how long were we in COVID? I started really kind of pushing it a little bit after COVID started. So maybe like 2 years, two
yeah.
years, 3 years. So yeah, so 2000 almost. So definitely appreciative. Thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for supporting. Keep it coming. I have lots of things coming up and lots of people to come to bring to the conversations. So let's start healthy friendship. Let's talk. So I
I just
definitely.
want to say, because someone asked, sorry, in the chat about
Oh,
the no
sorry.
limit
Go
vending.
ahead.
It's no limit vending, all one word. I've also put it on, so it's at no limit vending all together, on IG, if anyone's looking. Sorry, Kerry.
That's that's totally
Oh,
fine.
my sticks in the
Definitely.
car, baby.
Definitely no limit, hi, cuz, hi, Bree. So definitely know that every last Thursday of the month, I open up my platform to small businesses who would like to come on and share their business ideas or their business, just share their business with the community. So every last Thursday of the month, DM me. I always are putting up story on my stories, kind of preparing you guys. DM me, let me know. If you don't, I will just look at my followers and then ask you to come on, because I definitely feel our businesses need to be put out there more, and we're not utilizing that platform enough. So that's why I'll do every last Thursday of the month. So please feel free, if you have a small business, if you're starting a small business and you want to just come on and talk about it, just DM me and we will get it popping. Thank you guys. All right,
Now,
guys.
big up Mr.
So
All Class.
healthy,
He sells
huh?
weave. Big up
Yes,
Mr. All
Mr.
Class. He's in the comments.
Yeah,
He sells
Mr.
weave and
Allclass.
stuff.
Yes, weave.
Man.
He's the weave man. The weave
Yeah,
man.
man.
Okay.
On the go.
On the go too. Um,
I
so
have my
healthy
sister
French.
on the live too.
Any more big ups, Angie, before I start?
Yeah, man. Big up my sister. She up on the live. She sell weave too.
I love this. I love this. I swear to
Okay.
God.
So healthy friendships. We know that it's taboo, that, people say a lot in our society. It says a lot of Black women, we can't be friends. We can't have healthy relationships. Do we know what it sounds like, what it feels like, what it is? So I just want us to just talk about, like, I put up a poll and there was a lot. I was very surprised, or, very happy to see that there was a lot of people who had 20 plus friendships still happening. I don't know if I didn't specify if it was male or female, or, so but I like to see that it was 20. A lot of people were 20 plus. So who wants to start the conversation? Do you feel that the myth, or what's put out there, that Black women can't have healthy friendships? Or actually, let's define what you think a healthy friendship is first. Let's start there and then we'll go into more. So who wants to go first? What is your definition? And also in the audience, if you can do so as well, let us know what your definition of a healthy friendship is. We'll start. Who wants to start?
I don't mind going first. To me, I think a healthy friendship is having someone who you can speak to openly and freely, where there's no judgment. Someone who you can be completely honest with. So if you see your friend is messing up, you can actually have that healthy conversation. Say, okay, I actually think you're doing something wrong, or this is going right for you. And there's no judgment there. There's no, like, you don't feel like you have to sugarcoat anything. To me, that's one of the biggest things of having a healthy friendship.
Mhm.
I guess Angie's eating, so Chantal, you want to go?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. Like no judgment, someone that you don't sugarcoat. I also think someone that, I guess when I think of like my long friends, it's kind of where, when you have that, like where you don't see each other, you don't talk to each other every day, but you don't necessarily need to do that. But when you call, it's like no time has passed. Like I find though, for me, those have been my most solid relationships, is where there's not this kind of watching every movement. I feel a good friendship to me is someone that I can count on, someone that will be there for me when I'm going through stuff, and I need to show like also I feel that for me it's, and I remember you sent a clip before to, just to talking about the topic, and I feel, and one of the things is about reciprocal. So for me, one of the conversations is like friendships, healthy friendships should be reciprocal. And I do agree with that. I do think that, it's not where I feel like I'm giving, 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 or just taking, taking, taking. I think it's that it's back and forth, but there's also no competition in it either. I feel like I'm not the type of friend that's going to have a notepad saying, okay, well, I did this for you 10 times. So now, oh, you only did something for me 2 times. Like, that's not, I don't think that's necessarily friendship either. I think it's how you communicate and how one listens to each other. Um, and yeah, like, for me, those are the key things, but it's really about um, the safe, like feeling safe. Like how do I, like for me, it's about feeling safe, knowing that I could say whatever I need to say. And it goes back to what Mira said about non-judgment, is where, I can say what I need to say and I don't feel um, that they're gonna like judge me, or that they're gonna stop talking to me, or they're gonna be like chatting me behind my back, or anything like that. Those are just some things that come off the top of my head to mind.
What about you, Angie?
You guys basically touched on everything. Um, yeah, just keeping it 100 with the person without no judgment, of course. And yeah, you guys basically said everything. It's basically a healthy relationship. I just feel like being real, point blank, period. That's just what it is. Like everything else will follow. Like you just have to be able to like tell your friend, like as Browning said, like like you just have to be able to like tell the person whether they're right, whether they're wrong. Um, and not only even that, but even like when they're doing good too, because sometimes people always tend to not congratulate their friend or big up their friend when their friends are doing good, but they're always quick to, you know, point out their wrongs and all of that other stuff. But yeah, I just feel like keeping it jiggy, keeping it real is definitely like number one, and everything else should be okay in a healthy relationship. And also studying your
Exactly.
friends too, right? Because you can't approach everybody the same way, right? So I feel like studying the person as well will also help with the relationship as well. Like
Yeah.
knowing what they don't like, how to approach them, how to even talk to them. Because there's some friends I talk to a certain way that I wouldn't talk to some other friends, like comfortability wise, So
hmm And I think that's the thing when you said there was two things that you said that I'm like, yeah, like that, definitely the 100. But I want a friend that's going to celebrate the good and not just like point out the negative. Like they need to be there for everything. Like they're going to be just as excited for me, even if it's not them. They're just as excited for me and celebrating. So it's like their win when I win, so that we're all kind of winning together. So it doesn't really matter. And then you just said the other. And then I guess the other. You just said it. I'm having a brain fog. Sorry.
So I I think Amira will come back on when she can. So I think for me it's the same things as well. But I think for me, I think when I like those friendships too. Is a question. Does ever have? Anyways, I'll come back to the question. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I think for me, those friendships that you could pick up, and I think sometimes we sort of give those ones a bit too much leanway with that, because it's like, yeah, I want you to still make the effort to connect. Like I want you to still make the effort to keep engaged in my life, and know that even if we do spend some time apart, or life does get crazy or busy, that we could still pick up where we left off in a sense. But I still want the effort. And for me, healthy relationships are reciprocal, to reciprocate. If I'm putting some effort into it, whether I'm busy or you're busy or not, I want you to be able to do the same as well. So that's just that piece I really want us to focus on, and not always give those kinds of those ones that are like, oh, you know what, life gets busy, and don't expect me to always be the same kind of friendship that we had in the past. I think I totally understand that people evolve and people change, but we also have, just like we make efforts for our children, we make efforts for our husbands, our partners, or whatever. We need to make efforts for our friends as well, and put that little bit of effort in, especially if we notice that, wait, I haven't spoken to so and so in a pretty long time, or let me just send a quick text to say, hey, how are you? It doesn't have to be a long conversation, doesn't have to be, or even emoji, as we're doing today. So that's also a piece for me, I know, for my friendships, that I like
I
and I
just
appreciate.
I just remember it, communication, right? Like it's how knowing, like they know how you communicate it, because there's some friends that there's certain, and I think Angie started to talk about it, just like the way, like you would talk to one friend might not be the same with others, like, and it's more about just knowing everything, like knowing like, okay, just because, you know, they're silent doesn't necessarily mean they're mad at you, they're upset, but maybe something's going on, so they know how to check in. So it's kind of really just knowing the ways in which, how to read you. Like that's to me is like a good friendship where I don't have to explain every little thing, or if I do a certain movement, the first response isn't going to be defense mode and what the hell is your problem. It's kind of be like, okay, let me like figure out that's not her, that's not how she typically is. Something else is up. Like being able to catch cues and knowing like what's going on. So I think that's a key thing for me is in a friendship is they're able to read you sometimes
Yeah.
even without, because some of my good friends, I don't even have to, we could be in the same room and we can see something. We just look at each other, boom, and we know exactly what we're thinking about with somebody else. We have a good joke, we have a laugh or something. Like that's what I want, is that we're reading each other, we're reading each other's mind. Like there's not much. It's just a smile, a lurk, a head nod, a gesture, and you're in sync. So there's like a syncness there as well. When I
I
think
can
of my friendships.
I actually had an experience with that a couple of weeks ago where like you're just having those moments where you're not as talkative with your friends, and then they actually pick up on those cues and they'll be like, hey, is everything okay? I haven't really heard from you lately. And then there are other friends who they don't really message you if you don't with them. So it's like
Exactly.
I love that point.
But you have to, I guess
So
you have to have the balance. You have to understand, like you said, if you know your friend, you know they don't mean nothing bad by it, but it is the way that they are. And if you accept them, if they're your friend and you call them friends, because that's another thing. So the second part of the question is, do we believe in the what society tells us that Black women can't be friends? Or, don't hold no women can't be friends. And the reasonings what behind that. And where do you think that perpetuated from?
So
I
they're
personally,
here. It's just black people.
yeah, I think it's a huge because even like when you look on TV and you shows that they have, like how many female group friends showing as predominantly black friends, like aside from the show like Girlfriends, maybe Grownish and stuff like that, a lot of what we see on TV is predominantly non-black women going out on girls trips and hanging out and stuff like that. It's not really shown as something that black women do, even though we do it a lot, but it's just
yeah,
not something that's really portrayed.
Yeah, I
exactly. Like
agree.
widestream media, you're absolutely right. Widestream media in general just for portray like you're fighting for some man,
Yeah.
right? Like you're, or the black woman is a
Yeah,
sex object. They're not really
but for real though.
seriously, like you're fighting for some man or you're the sex object, right? Like
Yeah.
that's really one of the two, or you're the other woman. Like there's never like the solid girlfriend relationship. It's always somebody else that's non-black that has like the best friend, like the good relationships. So I think that's where this concept comes, like you can't have a good friend. Like
Or
black women don't
we
have
can't have
relationships.
long lasting, positive, healthy friendships. And
Yeah.
and I
Right.
think the other, Angie, you want to touch upon that? Or
Oh no, no, it's cool. Keep going.
so the other coin of that too is, how long have people had friendships? I know there's a question here, like how long have you had friendships, and why do you think that those friendships went the long run longevity compared to the ones that had to drop off at whatever point in your life? So do you think that as you get older, or were you having these friendships, or did you have these friendship patterns when you were younger, or you got them more so when you were older? So anybody wants to start with what's your longest friendship, I guess you could say, and how do you keep it going? Like how do you keep that longevity going when your friendship as compared to the ones that dropped off, like maybe what was the reasons why the other ones dropped off? Was it because of age, stages, whatever? So what give us some little bit of tidbits on that?
Um,
Angie.
I have friends that I have people that I'm still friends with from daycare, like from we're like 3, 4 years
Oh,
old, and
Daycare,
that's
wow.
20 plus years. Yeah, there's like there's like probably like a good five of them that I can name off the riff right now. Probably like a good five of them, and how I was able to maintain those friendships are why, like, I don't know, like they're just cool like that. Like I guess they're just pure in their hearts. Like we're
What
all,
is it? Is
and
it
that's just for
daycare? So
real.
that's 20 years and plus, Angie? That's 20 years plus?
Yeah, 20 years plus, because I'm 33 now, right? So I
Yeah.
know them from when I was like 3, 4, 5-ish. I have daycare. I have a daycare picture with all of them in there.
Wow.
So like,
Okay.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So how we maintained our friendship is like we're just pure in our hearts, and like as I began to tap into like my Christian journey and stuff and got to like really like learn certain things, like it's much more deeper than
Mm.
just the surface and the physical, but like at the end of the day, like I feel like it's all within at the end of the day, right? Because obviously there's always little issues and stuff, but again, like I said in the beginning, when you study your friends, when you learn your friends, like there's just what it's just I don't know how do I put this in words? Like certain things won't hinder the friendship if you
Yeah.
guys know each other, you guys learn each other, if that makes sense, right? Like if
Yeah.
I know like my friend doesn't like a certain this, I'm not gonna do that. And if I do happen to do that, you apologize, you talk about it and you move forward, right? And I feel like that's a lot of things that a lot of girls especially don't do in their friendships. Like they're afraid to like admit that, like take accountability, like say, okay, you know what, I did this, my bad, or whatever. Or sometimes people will have a problem with a certain friend and won't say anything because of the friendship, but it's like, I'm not taking no this, you know, right? You don't have to go, go at them a certain type of way, but you can always talk to them and be like, hey, like what you did was wrong. But at the same time, not everybody's like that too, right?
Yeah.
They'll hug it and be upset and not say anything, and just in sake of the friendship, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I feel like we all know each other. Like for my friendship specifically, I feel like we all know each other, so it's just easy to like
Maneuver each
maneuver.
other.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's what kept us afloat, to be very honest. The ones that I'm thinking about, yeah, like that's
Okay.
just what it is.
What
Yeah.
about you, Amira?
For myself, I have zero friends from like my
Oh.
my friends that I met as an adult, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think yeah, and even like through college, I probably got like two friends that I know from college, and then the rest of them are people I've met through like work. And so my longest friendship now, I would say, is about 12 years. And those people I've met in college and then also through working, like I said. And I think the reason why we've been able to maintain our friendship is open communication. Because some I have not seen, so I'm only seeing them like once a year, or like when a birthday party comes, thing, still talk on a regular basis. So for me, open communication has been the number one thing that's been able to help us maintain our friendship.
Thank you. What about you, Chantal?
So I would say my solid relationships are definitely 10 plus. Um, and my longest one, oh God, I can't do math, but I would have met them in grade six. I'm 43. Work that out. I don't, so that would be my longest. And there's a couple of them that I met in middle school. Um, but yeah, so that would be my longest. And I think the minimum would probably be about 10, like 10 years or more. And I think what made me stick with them is that,
Is that your
well,
mic?
some,
Is that your mic? I'm getting some
no.
feedback. Angie, put your thing on mute.
How do I do that?
Press the mic.
Oh,
Okay, I think you're good. You're good because I don't hear it anymore. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
Um, I don't
The
know.
longest, the longest. How did you keep the longest?
Oh God.
You are.
Oh, how? Because it's been a long week, guys. It's been long week, 12-hour, like a couple of 12-hour days here and there. So I'm tired. So be patient with me. But I think the reason I was able to maintain, also for some, it's the friends became family. So, and how it became family was more of like, again, just being that ride or die, non-judgmental, accountability, supportive, understanding. Like we know each other, we can read each other. they've been with me through some hard ass times, and those friends have been through some really successful times in my life. And they're always like, they're my cheerleaders, right? Like they're still cheering me on today. Like, so I think because of the different reasons of the stuff that we said, that's why some of them have continued to be my friends. And then there's some, and I do also think that some, and the ones that I was friends with and good, and I guess that's what makes them different, is because I think there are certain friends that you have for a reason, and then when that time has met its end, it's time to go, right? Like, I think that's one thing I've learned over the years, is that not all friends are going to last forever, but there's some friends that you need in those times and in those moments, and that's still okay too, right? And I think that's, but then I could see them, 10 years down the line, and there's still, like, at least a respect thing, and there's still like this, special thing, and there's still you remember the good and what they were there for you in those moments. But yeah, so I think, yeah, my shortest would be like under like 10 years plus. I can't really remember. But yeah, they're my girls.
So I think definitely, I think what the ones that are dropped off, I think what we have to think about, the ones that are dropped off, isn't necessarily, I think we think we're great communicators now, we're great friends now, but were we really back then? Like, if we really look back on the relationships and what we've learned now, who we are today, were we really fostering healthy relationships then? So I think that's what, just sort of looking back as to why these others have dropped off. And yes, I believe that people are in your lives for a reason, season, and in short period of time, or for a reason and season. But I also want us to reflect on our younger days where we weren't so, because I know Angie from when she was young. And I am very shocked that you still have these relationships because she wasn't very easy with her tongue back then. So, and I definitely know it's not easy for some women to receive receive you and criticize and criticism and stuff. So I want us to go back and look back a little bit at our young self and our young selves starting off friendships. Do we think that we
And
need
maybe
to
that's
have
why they're
more?
her friends, because they could handle that. They
Yeah,
appreciated her realness, right? Like they appreciate how raw she could be, because some people need that. And so, like that, you're always going to tell me straight, and it ain't nothing. So they won't be like sensitive to it or feel like, wow, you're a tad bit rude. Like they'll just like,
I
that's
still
Angie, and
hear
that's who she
some.
is.
I still hear some kind of
Do you hear it?
background, some kind of burr in the background, like grr. But
Mm.
okay, we'll just keep pushing. So yeah, and I definitely agree that. And I said the wavy says to grow together, grow through periods of time, and grow apart. I definitely believe that too. And I definitely think that when we are younger, what is it we want to teach our younger kids about friends, our younger children, our younger selves? What could we have told our younger self about creating friendships or looking for friends, or when we were picking our friends? What are some of the qualities that you think are longevity and what we need to be like, okay, teaching because we all have children on this live, teaching our children how to seek their friends, their friendships. So I know we listed some of the qualities, but let's look at our younger selves. Like I'm not going to tell my 13-year-old, look for somebody who could communicate well, because they're not really going to receive that. They're not going to know that, you know what I mean? But it's giving them a bit, breaking it down to their 13-year-old brain, what that means and looks like. So what do we look like? What do we think that we need to be instilling in our girls, in our boys, growing up, so that they can start to foster healthy relationships from the jump, and they don't have to go through all of the trials and tribulations that we went through. And definitely we're all going to go through trials and tribulations because that's a part of life, but at least we give them the tools in their toolbox to be able to cope and get through it, because we know young people are killing themselves and suicide and harming themselves and doing things that are not great because of friends, because of bullying, because of not choosing the
Yeah,
right
bullying, not
friendship
because of
circle.
friends. It's bullying. Yeah.
They're not choosing the right friendship circles or the right friendships to be around, and also looking for outside and external validation instead of internal. So yeah, let's
I
let's
think it
let's
would
touch
be
upon that.
exploring that word friendship, right? Because I'm clear, like I have friends, I have acquaintances, I have coworkers. Like I don't mix those. I don't blend them. It is what it is. Like there's certain people. So I think that's also something that I teach my son from young. He's 8. It's just like not everybody's your friend. That's your classmate.
Yes.
And classmates are different than so and so. And then it's talking about, like, okay, if this person's your best friend, why are they your best friend? Just because they play with you? Like, what makes them? Do they respect you? Like, when you say something, how do they respond to you? Do they treat you okay? Like, are they always making fun of you? That's not a friend. So when they're sharing, and like when we're talking, and when he's like, oh, I don't like this person, I don't like that person, I want to explore. Well, why? What happened? So it's kind of dissecting the conversation and seeing, like, okay, did you say this to them? What did you do? Like, trying to, figure out, okay, did you do this? Did you tell them that you didn't like this? Did they respect that? So it's kind of like, if you learning to know people, so it's trying to teach him now how to identify who's actually supportive to you and who's someone that you can get along with. And it's, do they treat you good? Do they respect you? When they hurt your feelings, do they say sorry? Do they always cut you off? Are they mean to you? Do they stop talking? Like, so it's all these kind of questions that I ask so that he can kind of, because I also want him to kind of develop and kind of think like, oh yeah, that person. So for example, there was a kid that he, in his class, that he really liked, like he's like good friends with, and he said, that's my best friend. I'm like, oh, why is he your best friend? He's like, oh, because we always play together and he's nice and whatever. And then one day he comes home and he's like, I don't like him. I said, why? What happened? He's like, because he was cheating, and I told him he was cheating. Then he started crying, and then everyone got mad at me because I made him cry. I said, so, and I was like, oh, so why do you hate him though? You said like, why do you hate him? He's like, because everyone got mad at me because he was feeling upset. And I go, okay. And then we talked about like, did you go back and tell him? How did you tell him? Did you embarrass him? Because maybe that's why he was crying. And, is he a quiet kid? So it's just exploring how that friendship, and then the next day he's like, oh, we're friends again. And I said, why? He's like, because he apologized to me. And I said, that's right. That is a friend. So it's just kind of having those constant conversations. That's right. So when you hear good behaviors, when your children talk to you about certain friends and interactions that mimic good behaviors on both sides, like how they behaved and how your friends, I think we have to acknowledge those moments and tell them why this is a good thing, and acknowledge those qualities in those moments, and reminding our children, these are the things you look at for in a friendship, and these are the
Yeah, and I
things that
think
you want to
I
stray away from in
yeah. What about
friendships.
you? What about you, Angie and Amira?
Other part.
Amira,
Sorry, what was your question again? Sorry, my brother was distracting me.
for your younger self, like how do we instill better choosing friendship groups instill it in your young people coming up today?
Um, how would I? Sorry. Can you go before me? I just have to give something to my brother. So sorry.
For myself, um, to touch up on, sorry,
Chantal.
Chantal.
sorry, what Sean said. For me, it's the same thing because I know myself when I was younger, my friends were friends because we were playing at recess, we were seeing each other at lunchtime. We weren't friends because we were having a conversation. And that's how it is with my so when it comes to my kids. What I try to explain to them is pretty much the same thing. You know, make sure you're
Oh
playing
gosh, I gotta
together.
put Angie on mute.
You're,
Angie,
Can't
put
hear.
your thing on
I
mute.
can't hear Amira.
Press the mic when you're not talking. Press the mic.
Sorry.
It blocks
So
out
sorry.
your stuff. And it's okay. And Amira, it sounds like you're chipping in and out. Is your mic, are you on mic? Are you on headphones?
oh no, I don't have headphones on. It's probably why.
Okay. All right. Yeah, stay there. Stay like that. Okay, go.
Okay. Yeah, so what I tell my son is don't be friends with people. Don't beg friend. That's my number one thing I tell all my sons and my
I think we
daughters.
all say that. I think we all say
Beg
that about
for the
people.
love of God. Like to beg friend, like people take advantage of you, and that's how bullying always happens. And that used to happen to me because when I was younger, I didn't have cable. All my friends at school would be
Oh my
talking about,
God.
and I would literally be sitting there pretending like I watched it and laughing at.
Oh,
I tell my
Sorry to
sorry.
laugh, but you would
I'm sorry.
pretend you watched the show. How do you
Oh
pretend you watched
god.
the episode? Like,
no, I lied my way through it, and then they would catch on. But anyways, I would like
Yeah, like how? Did you ever say something wrong?
Like, oh, thunder, yeah,
She
thunder,
probably
rain.
listened to a
Okay,
certain conversation and then she would remember the conversation of other people and then she would say, "Oh, I saw that." Because
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
remember that part when this happened? I'm like, yeah, that never happened. And I'm like, but I'm glad.
Oh,
oh, poor Vera, poor baby Vera.
oh Lord.
I
Oh, I'm so sorry.
said, go to school to go to school. If you meet people in the future, when you grow up, you have your sisters. Your sisters are your friends. Your cousins are your friends. But for now,
Mm.
you go to school, and don't beg friend, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you now, like, what are you telling, what messages are you giving your young person as they're trying to go through this life of choosing friends? And I think where we start off too is, when we're in kindergarten, when we're in like first, when we get into school, we have to share, we have to give, all those kinds of messages kind of warp our sense of really figuring out, do we even want to talk to you? Do we even want to be your friend and give you that? Because I think friend and acquaintance and those titles, they mean something. So I don't give them out willy-nilly, just like I don't say I love you, or well, I say I love you because my heart is pure. But you know what I mean? I don't give it out willy-nilly. Like it means something to me and I hold it and I give it out to who is I feel deserves it. You know what I mean? In my own, way of doing things. So I think those messages as we're just starting off school, that we have to do this and you have to do that, and you have to share and you have to like this person, you have to go and sit with this person. It warps our sense of friend. Plus our parents are not wasn't back then not having these kinds of conversations as we are privy to, because we all have gone through the field. We all have children, so we all have these sort of different mindset of things. So we're not privy to these things when we were growing up, and our parents weren't. So I think that's definitely something for healthy relationship. What it looks like, what it sounds like, and what it is defining it at age appropriate levels, of course, but also defining it for your friend. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what am I doing that's affecting you and our friendship? Or what is, what I mean, to having these conversations and not feeling bad about having these conversations, or not feeling upset because we jump to, trying to defend. We're trying to defend ourselves. We're trying to defend our point of view, but having those conversations. So I think for our young people coming up, I think these are all great things to have these conversations and breaking it down, and also saying, like, I think every Black household has said it and we're using it. Don't beg friend. Like, you don't have to have a whole heap of friends in order to be a friend, or to order to learn those skills. You know what I mean? You can use your sisters or your siblings or your cousins, or in general your other teams. Like, if you have no friends at school, that's fine. If you have a sports activity that you do, or you have a neighbor, those are your friends, and that's okay. But like Chantel was saying, those are your school people. I don't even call them friends. Those are your school people, them. And
Exactly.
those are your work people, them, and those are
Holly.
your things. So that's your people, them. That if you, that that's fine. When I go to work, I say hello, how are you, whatever. That doesn't mean after work that we're socializing. I mean, if it does happen and it branches outside of work, then that's totally cool. But if it doesn't, then it stays at that level. So that's my going into that, my boundary. How do you place healthy boundaries on your friendships?
For myself, I think when it comes to boundaries, it's kind of like a trial and error thing. So for me, the way I was able to know which boundaries are for which friends really happened like when I had my son. So I had my son when I was 22.
Mm.
And some people, when they found out I was pregnant, they're like, oh, yeah, congratulations. And then other people, they keep in touch with you. And I think this happens to like all moms, where like you have a kid, and then some friends, literally, you're like, oh, you're the mom now. Peace out. You can't hang out with us anymore. And then other friends, they actually keep in touch with you, and, they maintain that friendship. So for me, I cut off the boundaries for people who, okay, well, I'm not just a mom, like I'm still me, and I'm still that friend. And if you can't respect me as me, then I keep you at a bay. Like, I don't involve you in, what's going on with my kids. I'll say hi if you have a nice picture on Instagram. I'll tell you, oh, you look nice today, and that's about it. But for other people, if you've actually shown respect to me, and when I tell you something like, oh yeah, I'm having a baby, genuinely happy for me, then I know I can, I don't know how to phrase this, but I can be beyond friends with you. Like, I can actually tell you personal business, and it's clear from there.
So trust level, they
Yeah.
form a trust level in your. Okay, anybody else? Boundaries. How do you set boundaries?
I think much like Amira, I feel like I always start off with, I'm going to treat you the way I want you to treat me. And when I see you're not treating me a certain way, I'm going to talk up. I don't hold that shit. I'm going to let you know, like, what's up? I noticed this, I noticed that, what's up with that? And because I want to let the person know how it's bothering me. Because then I want to say, like, oh, I'm going to let you know, like, this bothered me, this hurts me, or this is how I feel, whatever. And notice if they change. And if they don't change, then I'm like, all right, you're not respecting what I'm like, because I'm not going to just stop talking to you and not tell you why. I want to be able to see, like, it's maybe you're unaware and you don't realize. So I'm going to bring it to your attention. And if you're my friend, then you're going to hear and receive what I have to say. And you're going to make changes. The same as and I would expect the same from me. Like, if I'm doing something that they don't like, bring it to my attention. And if we're friends, I'm going to definitely make those changes. But if I see that they're not making changes, then it's a wrap. Like, we're done. Like, for me, it's just like, all right, I let you know what's up. I might even, depending on how much I want to stay friends with you, I might even give you next time. Like, yo, remember I told you this before? I didn't like. So I might give you a couple of chances. But then when I say my piece 3 times, it's a wrap. Like, okay, then end of the chapter. Deuces. It's been great, but on to the next. Or,
It's been
yeah.
great.
Angie,
Boundaries.
how do you set boundaries? Healthy boundaries.
To be very honest, I think I just started setting boundaries, to be honest.
Well, with all your little hair care
Do you think
friends,
that
of
you're, do
course.
you think that you
That's
has
good.
people dropped off because of now you're setting healthy boundaries? Or do you think that, or
Yeah,
they're respecting it and keeping, and the friendships are keeping going?
I don't care. To be very honest, like, this is what I'm doing, and if you don't like it, bite it. And if you're down, then let's keep going. Because honestly, I'm just tired. Like, I feel like um I've I'm that friend that's like ride or die, right? So I feel like at a certain point people are like taking advantage of it. Like, my sister always used to be like, oh, like, like you need to be like more like solid within yourself, like you're always solid for people. You need to be solid within yourself, because it's like people start to take advantage of your solidness, right? Because there's not a lot of solid people around. So they're just always, I feel like they always expected me to do certain things because that was just my nature, right?
Mm,
So there was just a certain point where I just had to kind of like leave them hanging dry at certain points, so they know, like, okay, it's a choice, it's not a privilege. So I just started setting those boundaries. I locked off a lot of people. I stopped talking to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people are not talking right now, and that's okay, right? And then I had to kind of like put a wall up for everybody else to know, like, this is what I'm on and you can get it too, right? Because at first everybody was taking me for some poppy show, because loyalty is not something so it's not something so simple, like, it's like something like that you want. It's like something that you have to want to do, like, or you have to want to be loyal to somebody,
yeah.
right? And people were taking advantage of that, and I was just like, what? Like, no. So I had to make an example out of certain people, and then it was like, nah. Like, and the people that I used for examples, it was just like, whoa, if she could do it to these people, we know different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
You're
So
not
I
playing.
feel
You're
like,
serious
yeah,
things. Yeah, you have to
exactly.
give them
So it's like, once I put those things in place, it was kind of like, okay, like, everybody's like, you have to be steady. So I just started doing the boundary thing, to be very honest. I'm new to it. I'm not experienced yet, but I'm trying a thing,
good.
hopefully. Yeah.
That is definitely good. And I think here's some I said Betty Love says, I love this topic, can't stay doing my show, but I have my friends for 40 years and we never have any form of dispute. We all respect each other's space and things they love, and I love them too. 40 years plus, another one, Easy Love says 40 years plus, no disputes. And Jay, touched by an angel, they're agreeing with you. And
Yes.
I like the no disputes thing, but I think in life in general, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have disputes. You're going, even if it's a little bit of like, I don't want to go here, or I don't want to do this restaurant, or you know what I mean? So I think the disputes, it's just how you handle them, how you come back from them in every relationship that you have in life. So I think disputes, we shouldn't run away from them. Hey, Nisi, look at your other girlfriend up here, Nanji. Um,
Hey.
So I don't think I don't think having no disputes. I think I would say I've had very long friendships from middle school. Chantel and I have been friends for a long time. We've had our disputes, but it's never anything that I would say long-term arguing. We're not talking for 10 days, or we're not talking, or you know, those kind of things, but we've had our disputes. I mean, and I think disputes is good to have. It's good to have and be able to resolve them, because that again is how you continue to set your boundaries, how you continue to grow and figure out what is good for you, what is not good for you, whether it is in a romantic relationship or a friendship. So it's also in friendships, it's figuring out your love language as well. So love languages is for every aspect of your life. So it's also for your friendships. It's how I want to be loved, how I want to be respected, and not even how I want to be, how I feel respected. Because I think a lot of disputes and a lot of frustration and a lot of lack of communication comes from feeling disrespected. And like you said, you either hold it in, or you then it becomes a grudgement thing. Or
Mhm.
instead of people coming out and saying, oh, you have kids and I feel like I'm not going to be a priority in your life. No qualms to you. We can definitely, I'll say hello when I see you, but I'm out kind of thing. They kind of just ghost you or don't have that conversation. So you feel away when you see them, or they feel away when they see you, as if you've done them something. So I think definitely it's great to have set healthy boundaries for friends, and understand it is sometimes a way of figuring out. So it's does this work for this friend? You know, this boundaries I'm putting up. Is it working for this friend? You know what I mean? And I for me, I pretty much I think I have the same sort of boundaries for everybody, because I am who I am with everyone in a sense, and I don't really have these in my mind. I don't have cliques, but
Yeah.
people do in friendships. They have these where they don't want this friendship group to come together, or these are my friendship groups, and that I don't have that in my, I can't set those in my mind. So everybody gets what everybody gets at the same thing at the same time. So that sort of thing. So I think that is where we kind of need to really, and I think that's where the negativity can fall into play, is when you have these different friendship pools, and then you have to either act differently, or you can't bring them together, or you know, you're having to remember that I can't do this with this person or these people. Like, I think that is too much work for me
Okay.
at least. For me at least. So I think, yeah, definitely setting boundaries and understanding what your boundaries are, whether it's one friendship group or overall, is really good to have, and really good to be instilling in our young people as well. Because then again, this is where bullying and low self-esteem, where you just allow anything to happen, it could be nipped in the butt or sooner than later, if we had these thoughts and these conversations at a younger stage in our lives, or younger. What do you guys think about that?
I completely agree. Especially where you mentioned the part about like people having different cliques and different groups of friends, and they don't actually merge and they act completely differently with each group of friend that they have. For me, like that's how I had to cut off one of my longest friends that I've had, because of the fact that it turns out they were just a completely different person. And then that's how like the gossip enters the friendship, and it's like you're coming to me telling me one thing about this friend, and then how do I know if you're not telling them your other friends thinks about me. So it's like that level of trust can't really be there when you're just a different person with each friend that you have.
Friend group.
Yeah,
What
like
about
bye.
that? What about when you do have these different friend groups and or you have these merging friend groups and you like let's say me like let's say we're all four friends and I'm like you're having a situation with Chantel. You come to me and talk to me about it. Um is that okay? Is that gossiping or is that considered, disrespectful or, is it should be like, okay, no, go and like, of course you're going to encourage that person. Well, you should encourage that person to speak to that person they're having this. But sometimes you just want to bounce things off of your friends, even though it might be a situation with your other friends. Is that some people feel like that is gossiping or it's not great? What do you guys think about that?
To me, I feel like
No.
it's based on your intention. So if you're coming to me to just talk shit about your other friends, then you're like there's nothing positive coming out of you telling me something about your friend. So if I'm coming to you and complaining about something and my intention is for you to help me actually solve this problem, then that's different. But if I'm coming to you and be like, "Oh my God, can you believe she slept with him and this that happening?" What is the point of that? To me, that's gossip. But if you're not looking to solve
Mm,
the problem, then you're absolutely gossiping.
okay.
Yeah, I
Anyone
agree.
else?
No,
Not
Amira.
necessarily. Sometimes you just want to get it off your chest. Well, I feel like I agree with that, but I also feel like it also, to add to that, I also feel like it depends on the individual that it's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I can go to my friend and be like, oh, Ray Tay, did this to me. I'm not gossiping about them, but I'm just explaining the situation to my friend because maybe that friend went to go explain the situation to that same friend and explained it differently. So I'm explaining my side. And let's not forget, because if you come to me, I'm going to tell you the exact same thing and more to your face. So it doesn't even matter. So I feel like, depending on the
Yeah.
individual that it's coming from, it's whatever. Because if worst case scenario and they say, oh, Andrea said rate it, like, I'm glad you asked. Now let me tell you to your face. Right? So it
So it's
just
okay.
depends.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's
okay.
like
What you're saying is okay. So everybody's kind of agreeing like it's okay to like let's say I'm
yes, like
having a
I think
dispute with Chantel and I go to Mara. I'm like Mara, me and Chantel got into it and I'm really struggling with how to approach her with it or that is you think that that is okay to do. But if it's like I'm talking shit about Chantel and I'm not trying to approach Chantel about it, but I'm just talking shit, then that's gossiping. That's not
so.
a
I
good
think it
energy.
depends. Like when Angie's like what I hear, like how I take it. Like so, if we're four of us,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm gonna go to somebody, right? So if there's just the four of us, I want to be able to vent too.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's for me when Angie explained what she was saying. That's how, because that's those times too where I'm go like if I have an issue with Kerry, I might just want to go to Angie just to vent about it because I'm so pissed, and she's part of my circle. So it's not necessarily I'm gossiping about Kerry; it's that I need to vent. So it's either I'm going to go to Angie or I'm going to go to Amir, whoever I'm not arguing with. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's necessarily gossip, but if it's in the same circle, you need to get it out. I think it's how Angie would either take it, she's gonna either, and sometimes it's me venting with the intention of me, am I wrong? Am I right? Like, do I need to go to, so it's kind of like bouncing it off, kind of hearing like, okay, what, is Angie's gonna, I know I'm gonna go to Angie because Angie's gonna tell me straight, well, you're wrong. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And then I'll move on. Okay, I'll go back to Kerry and be like, I'll apologize. Or and then Angie being the still in the circle, she'd be like, well, we got to work this out. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think it's a gossip. To me, it doesn't come off as gossip in either example because I think it's really what the intention is. Because sometimes if it's the same circle, it's like I want to go to the one who's going to tell me it straight and that I need to apologize because I might be in my feelings, but I can trust Angie to tell me what's up and that I need to apologize. Whereas I might go to Amira where she's going to try to like help me figure out how do I do something. So I think it just depends on knowing your friends and knowing what you're going to them for.
What about if it's not in your circle? Suppose it's a friend like of a friend, and it's like you're having a conversation with a friend of a friend, and you still want that same perspective, but it's not a friend circle. So you know what I mean? That friend
Is it
may
my
not.
friend
You
or
have
the
to
other
study.
person's friend?
You have to
No, it's
study the
my.
people that you're
It
gonna go
might be
to and
just
talk
a
to these
friend.
things about.
if I'm going to your friend and they're not my friend, I'm not going to your friend. Like I'm not like that to me, that's straight gossip. Like your friend is your friend, that's not my friend. I'm not gonna go. So say your friend is JoJo. I'm not gonna go to JoJo because that's your friend. Because I know JoJo's probably not going to come to try to figure out my way. Probably JoJo's gonna run back to you and tell you I'm chatting you.
No, no,
So I
no,
definitely
no.
wouldn't go to JoJo.
No, what I'm
That's
saying
not
is
my
that
friend.
let's say I have like me and okay, it's not a friend circle. Like this is your friend circle right here. But I have a friend and I'm going to my friend and talking about what is happening in with a friendship that I have. They're probably they may not be a part of that circle of friend or but they're just a friend. So it's like me talking to somebody else about my situation, but it's not a friend part of this friend circle. Is that okay? Because
Go
again,
on.
So if they're your friend, like if it's
Yeah,
my like
go on,
like yeah,
say
DMC.
it
like if
again.
you're my friend, I'm
Say
saying
it
yes.
again.
Like
Say it again.
I said, if they're your friend, that's the same situation that I'm going to go to my friend to vent about somebody. Like, I think that's where you might, like, if you're, especially if you're going back to when you said, like, having different friend group.
Hmm, hmm.
I might go to another friend group to talk about my frustration with somebody else just
Okay, so
because I
you're
still
saying
need to
that's
get it
cool.
out.
That's
Yeah,
boundaries,
like if
and
I
that's
need to
okay.
get it out. Yeah, like it's
Mm.
not like I'm gonna sit like if I'm sitting up to gossip and saying, "Oh, Carrie's a lowlife and she's a slut," Carrie's not, then
That's
I'm
different.
clearly that
Yeah.
we're not even friends because why would I even want to do that?
Not this
Mm-hmm.
scary.
That's not how,
That's
no, but I'm
another
saying
scary. That's
that's,
not this
but
scary.
that's, calm down, calm down. It's an example. It's an example.
The thing for them
But
big.
if you were a slut, I wouldn't be calling you a slut because that's your choice. It's your choice to sleep with whoever you want. Like that's like I would empower that movement. I would not, I'm just saying like it's a woman's right to do what she chooses to do. So it's a different spin, but I'm
Who
saying
come with you? Who we bagging?
exactly, exactly. How was it? Was it good? How to do it? Which position? But exactly, we would have those conversations. So I'm saying if I have a bad mind to go and talk, like meaning like if my thing is to say, oh, Carrie's like she's such a whore and da da da, then we're not friends. Like that should like that's not friendship to
Yeah,
me. I'm not gonna go and
definitely.
do that.
Mhm.
Like that.
Definitely. And I think that is where like I wanted to really dig into is you can talk to anybody about anything. And this is what we have to stop take is thinking about people's business and carrying my business thing. It's your intentions behind things, how you communicate, how you say things. Doesn't mean because I go to my other friend group or friendship or my mom or my sisters about what's happening that I'm divulging all your secrets and your you know what I mean and all the things that you know what I mean. It literally is your intentions behind things and how you communicate it with to other people. So I think what we have to start doing more of is definitely we're not seeing it in social media. We're not seeing it on the social in the mainstream media, but it's also having these conversations and on talking about our friendships and what we want, what we see, so that we can break down the stereotypes of not being able to have long-term friendships with women and not being able because that translates to I can't do business with women or I can't do this with women or and then you trickle it over to teaching your children that message whether it indirectly or directly it can happen. So I think definitely I love this conversation because I
That's a
think
good point. Sorry.
yeah,
That's a
it
good
can
point.
go because you know
That was
when we have friendships and you know I've been like I've had friendships where I've been in their children's lives and then the friendship stops and then it's like I can't talk to the children. I can't, you know what I mean? Or the children now see me and they're uncomfortable to say something to me. Why?
hmm
Because it's what message is being heard or stated in the home to the so that's another topic I think we can go upon is you know just how do we really sever friendships healthy in a healthy way? How do we let people go or, you know, have these healthy conversations with these people that are no longer friends, that we no longer want a part of our lives in a healthy way so that people are not walking around here wounded or yeah, yeah. What do you think?
sometimes, Kerry, you can't do everything so healthy.
Mm.
We eat
I
junk food
agree.
every day. So
Facts.
sometimes I have to operate
100.
in a
A bunch
junk
little hundred.
action too.
Okay, so what would you say is okay, what would you consider as not unhealthy? Like if you just ghost somebody, is that unhealthy or is that healthy?
I don't care.
Same. I'm not even gonna lie.
Facts. Facts.
This is somebody
Facts.
you considered
Facts.
this is somebody you considered a friend.
Yes,
I've
this
done
is
it.
Before
somebody
I
I
let them
considered a
go.
friend, but if you
Sorry, go
did
ahead.
something to me and it rubbed me differently, bye. I don't have to
I
explain anything. You know what you did, I know what you did, and
Mm,
we can go about our
facts.
business. This is my sister's on the live right now. I wish we could
Is
add
this
a
your
fifth
sister?
person.
Is this your sister Jay? Is it
That's my
Jay?
little sister, but not this one. My older sister. She's Queen P. She's
Oh,
Queen
because she
Queen
don't
P
stop
14.
agree with everything you say. Jay.
Oh yeah, she's just
Yep,
down.
dead.
She's just down. But my sister, me and my sister argue about this all the time. Like, cause sometimes I'll be like, oh, when you see them, you could at least say hi. I'm like, hi for what? There's no beef,
Oh.
right? And I'm a Christian. I'm on my little Christian journey, right? And they say in the Bible it says you have to forgive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So I told my sister, fine, I'm gonna forgive them, but I'm not saying hi because people have this thing where because there's no problem, you if there's no problem, then you should say hi. But it's just like no. If me and you
yeah.
know that there's no problem, I don't have to say hi to you. And at the end of the day, I know deep down in my heart, because God sees your heart, right? That means He knows that I forgave you. So that hi doesn't mean anything. And I could be fake and say that hi, giving you fake energy, and the whole time I didn't even mean that hi. So what's the point? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just personally feel like there's just some certain people, and depending on the situation, you just want to free yourself. You just don't want to bother with them. Like there's no problem, like there's no kiss teeth, no school face. Like back in the day, you're not brushing them, but it's like, oh, that's you don't know. And then you just go about your business. Everything's cool because sometimes some people do some stuff to you, and it's like you
You
don't
can't
even like. You
you
just
can't
have to
come
just
back
block
from
them
it.
off.
You
Like,
feel
they
like
know
you
what
can't.
they did. I don't
Yeah.
have to talk about it. Oh my God, and you did this to me, and it hurt me so. No, you hurt you dissed, and that's that. Bye.
And I think I come from a different like energy where I feel like it's no
You hold on to
snot.
some friendships that you need to cut. I know that because
Yeah,
you're
that's
very,
it. You just have
you
to
need to
just
cut
block
some
them
of the
off and
friendships
go.
that you hold on to. Straight facts.
It's not every day talk, 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 talk. Sometimes you just have to cut and go through. Free your mind.
Seriously.
Free.
Seriously. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
every day. Not every day. Oh, what's healthy? We eat junk food every day, Kerry. Come on, we have to do some junk action. So
I think, Amira, were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Mira, go
yes,
ahead.
I'm here. Come, give me the good news.
I agree. I feel
Ah.
like especially situation where you know if you're gonna try to tell someone, okay, you did this to me, and they're gonna gaslight you. I'm not gonna be interested in
Mm,
with you. Goodbye, nice life, and we're done. And when it comes to like seeing somebody in public, I'm the exact same way. I'm the keep that energy kind of person. If we don't have each other on
mhm.
Instagram, if we're not texting each other, when I see you, I'm gonna keep walking. That doesn't necessarily mean I have bad feelings towards you. I'm just saying keep that same energy. Like I
Straight.
your presence.
Facts.
I don't have to say
No
hi
cap.
to you. It's just
I don't see
let's
anything
keep
wrong
going.
with saying a hello, even if we don't talk anymore, even
No,
if we're not friends anymore. I don't see, unless, like you said, if you are like dodging me, you know how you could tell when somebody doesn't want to say hello to you or doesn't, then that's different. But if like for me, I'm just like, if I
You know
see
those
you,
people, Carrie, that have an energy. You know. We're not gonna
but that's
name no
not my
names on here, but I'm
energy. I
no,
don't
but I'm
match
saying
energies. I
I
don't match
but
energies, and I think
you
that's
need to
the difference.
sometimes match energy because then they're sucking the energy out of you
And
because
exactly.
I
them vibes I good vibes only.
See,
So
that's
I'm
my
not gonna
sister right there. She said, "Stop nodding my head." You see that?
I'll creepy. Except I do like I will match an energy like because you do if you've had a fallout right and things have just not working. I don't need to try to redeem or be in a good place. I don't need to do all that because you
Yeah.
knew what our friendship was from the time and you fucked up. So it's a wrap. Like it's just that simple. I don't
Yes,
care
yes,
about
yes.
anything.
I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth.
Yes.
Seriously.
Oh God.
Let's check out back. We don't need to do all that. Like, fuck that. And then you could tell when you see them on the street, there's an energy there. Fuck your
Yeah.
energy. Like, I'm gonna match your energy. You don't see me, I don't see you either. And
That's
I'm
it.
okay with that. I'm okay with that. I've made my peace. Because I know when I cut you off, it's for a reason. And it's not
Yeah.
that I didn't make attempts or I didn't communicate, because I will give you, and this goes back to boundaries.
Yeah.
When I cut you off, it's because I've claimed my, I claim my boundary.
Amazing.
Oh my God. See, Angie's in my circle.
But
Yeah.
no, and I
Uh,
totally hear that. I think for me, it's been a learning experience with friendships with females and also friendships. I mean, friendships in general and relationships in general. It's a learning journey, and I think that I don't think that if I consider you my friend, family, I'm never ever going to treat you like a dog on the street. I really am not. Even if we fall out, even if we are no longer, I'm never. Now it's different if you've done me something terribly, terribly wrong and there's no coming back from it. I don't think that I would treat you like a dog on the street, but I definitely would probably match energies. That's what I would give you. And I think it's you need to know yourself. You need to know what your level of communication is, what your level of what's the word that I'm trying to come, the level of how your limit. So before you reach your limit where you have to be, I have to dog you like Kathy outside. Don't ever get me to that level. Like don't if you ever get me to that level, then you are not my friend, foe, or family.
That's
Because you know
it.
who I am and you know who my spirit is. And if you want to draw that spirit out, then you no longer deserve my presence. And that's
That's
how I
it.
look at it that way. I'm not going to look at it where I'm going to have to cuss you out or go on which way or any which way. It's a matter of you no longer deserve my presence and you don't deserve my energy. And that's where I would leave that. But I also don't cut people off because I also
I
believe
know.
that God removes them on their own. I don't have to do the work. I don't have to do
Sometimes you
the
gotta chuck them.
legwork.
You gotta chuck them. You gotta chuck them over the boat because sometimes
That's the
the boat
difference
is too
between us
heavy.
and
No, but some people are
And
nurses. But this is what I was telling you about the
exactly,
loyalty thing. Sometimes people don't rock with you. They rock with what you come
exactly,
with and how you are, right? But
yeah.
they don't rock with
exactly.
you. They just rock with how you are as a person, your character, your vibe, so they'll
Yeah.
stick around as long as you allow them. And that's
Yeah.
something
Exactly.
that my
And
sister
that's
taught
not
me,
good.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. And
So they
that's why
don't
you
rock
gotta
with
chuck them to
you,
the side.
but they
Yeah.
rock
Exactly.
with, oh, Angie's like this, Angie's like that. So they just want to be in your energy. They want to be in your presence whole time. They shouldn't be in your energy, right? So then people, they have to just chuck them to the side, like, oh, you know.
Seriously, you can't wait
Yeah.
for God to remove them. You have to. This is God's sign. Like remove them, sweetie. Remove them. Cut a boundary because
Hmm.
sometimes
Or
people
even
will keep you in your life just to be like spiteful or because they think that
Yeah,
oh you make them look better. Meaning like oh she's doing like
exactly.
they talk shit about you like oh they want to make fun of you or they think like oh they'll just keep you around to make themselves feel better because they think they're better than you. That's why you gotta chuck them. You gotta just throw them out the boat. Like you
Yeah,
can't.
man. Let them go on.
Yeah.
Let them go on.
or even some like they don't necessarily, but they want to know where you're working. They want to see your kids. They want to see what you're eating. They don't like you, but they still will have you on social media because they want to see what you're doing in your life, even though they genuinely do not like you. That is, I will find my way to the block button even faster. I don't play with that because you're not about to give me evil eye. I'm sorry, I can't. Like you have to
It's
let them
true.
instance to me.
You see, like, I think the older I get is it's literally my spirit don't take you, my spirit don't take you.
That's
And
it.
I
That's my
go off
sister
of
before.
that. I
Mhm.
I don't have room for the nonsense anymore. And I think we put up with a lot more when we're younger and we're going through schooling. And I think that's what I sort of instill in my children. Like, you don't have to, like, love yourself first, appreciate yourself, be okay with who you are and knowing your boundaries and knowing who, like, you're the gift to their life. Like, their presence and your thing in their life is an addition. It is not something that they should be taking lightly. And if they do, they're not meant for you. So keep it moving. So I
That's it.
definitely totally understand that those forms of healthy relationships, healthy bonds. And yes, we do have unhealthy habits. We do have unhealthy things that we do, but it's recognizing that this is what suits my life. This is what suits me. And this is how I need to be in order to get my message across. Because, like you said, there are some people that only need the negativity in order to hear. You know what I mean? Don't play with
Mm-hmm.
my spirit, bun you.
For real.
Yeah, it's true. True. I don't play with my spirit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I used to second guess it. As a child growing up, you second guess when your energies don't match or your spirit don't take somebody, you're kind of like, oh, give them another chance. Give it. I listen.
No.
I
Yeah.
take heed at the
Mm-mm.
first. Now I take heed at the first initial our meetup, and I treat you accordingly. That's what I
That's
learned
it.
now is I treat you accordingly. I don't actually have to say anything to you. It's just me as a mental note know how to treat you and know how to deal with you. And I think
That's it.
that's what we have to understand, because we see so many of these relationships on social media and so much of these French so-called friendships that we call people friends, and our children pick up and bring home those people and they don't see it. But why are they not seeing it? There's something that we are not instilling. We are not addressing. We are not focusing on why our children are bringing, like, you say, someone
No,
said
Kerry,
here
they
we had
are.
some,
Because how many times my mom told me about my friends and I still brought them to the house.
or like the bad breed, because there is a comment on here that says some of my kids' friends are bad breed and some of them are good breed. Like, it's like, but you have to then talk to your child to figure out why are they friends with this that you think is not the
Mm-hmm.
greatest friend for them, or have that conversation as Chantel was having with her little one is, what makes a good friend, and what qualities does that person have that makes that person a good friend, or even be able to have the title of a friend and not an acquaintance or somebody people them outside, or the people them outside is what I would say, the people them on the street. So definitely having those breakdowns so that your children have those, and for you too, for your friendship as well, having your understanding of who is what and where do they go in your life, and put them there and treat them accordingly, because we would save ourselves so much heartache, so much energy, and so much like disputes. Like, I don't think that I've had to, thank God, like cuss nobody or cuss off anybody in order to sever something. And I don't think that we have to go to that. You know what I mean? I don't think that we all have to go to that place. But that, again, that's learning and getting to know ourselves more and overstanding what we want from people and how we want to be treated, and teach them how to treat us. That's another one, is teaching people how to treat you, and that's how you set your boundaries. Any other thoughts about this topic, guys? And what about you guys in the comments? The friend term is used loosely nowadays.
Very
Yeah,
loosely, too
I agree.
loose.
just like
Very
love.
loose.
I think the love is used too loosely
Even
too.
worse.
Love is used too loosely. Forgiveness now, because it's, wellness and do you really understand what forgiveness means? Like, are you really practicing forgiveness? So please don't put
Girl.
these, yeah, don't put these terms on out there if you are not overstanding it, and if you really are not implying it in your life, because
Yeah.
people are going to see through you if they really are looking at it. So I think that is definitely what our young girls, I don't see a lot of, do you, like, we're out in the community and stuff, do we see a lot of like socializing anymore? Like, we don't even see that happening a lot more. Like,
Mhm.
we used to have tons of friends growing up. Like, even if we consider good friends, healthy friends, unhealthy. My son has maybe like two, one. A whole school year they'll go through and they maybe know two people name. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different generation, like
Yeah.
totally different generation, different ways of going about things. And I think that's what we have to really focus on in our adult friendships is modeling behavior so that our children can see positive,
But they
healthy.
also have different things as making like create like building like we had all our friends in person because we didn't have the shit they had. Like these video games and the social media and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, like
Mm,
they connect a different way than how we used to because we didn't have that shit. We barely had.
yeah,
We didn't
Mm-hmm.
have. I remember when AOL came out, and you had to finally dial it up, and wait like 20 minutes to
Mm-hmm.
get internet
Even a
if you're
computer, if you had a
lucky.
computer, you were sick.
What? Oh
yeah,
my
Right?
god,
yeah,
But then none of your friends had computers, so what? Who cared? So you're
yeah,
still
Right?
we made friends in a different way. Whereas now it's so easy to make like besides outside of school, it's all social media. Like it's all
Yeah.
technology and
hmm
how they're connecting with people, not even connecting with people necessarily in their neighborhood, all over the goddamn world, right? Like so
yeah,
it's different ways for them. So I think it's easier for young people to not have to connect socially in person because of all the other access they have to being able to connect to people, right? But
yeah,
not realizing like you're actually not going to on a Friday night when you have a link up where you're like 20 people deep, you might have one or two because your other 10 of them are across the country that you'll
yeah.
never that you'll never see. So I think it's so different for this generation, these young people, and how they build relationships, how they form relationships because of what's at their means of how they interact with people.
Yeah. And definitely the overstanding of like how do you be friends and how do you even create and make friends, like that's also a struggle now too, like because of all of the social media stuff, because kids now are putting on personas. I could be this avatar, I can make up this, and I could be this person on thing, but then when they have to be in person and then they don't know how to act, or
Mm-hmm.
this person is wants me to look this way, so I have to act this way in order to be in this friend group,
But the adults are
so
even worse. But BBL. Hey. And I did.
it's
That's
true,
so
yes,
true. That is so
because
true.
yeah, self-esteem and self-love, I think, is what is so needed, and my business, I do that. So if you're struggling with your children, or you're struggling with your self-esteem, self-worth, or having difficulties with behavior, come to me. I will help you. I will help your family achieve your goals, in getting that, because we know we need help, like people, and with Black people, we need to reach out. We need to not wait till it becomes this huge problem or this issue where you no longer can, it's going to be even 10 times harder to nip than to start younger, or to start at one or two times that you notice something's, then reach out. There's people out there that really, like myself, that are for you, by you, that really have the knowledge, and also is raising four boys of her own, so it's not like it's lived experience as well. So definitely reach out to people if you're struggling, if you're having difficulty understanding, to bridge the isolation, because I see a lot of kids that isolate themselves, and parents think that that's normal, or parents think that that's okay. Like a child would refuse to go out and do something because they want to be online doing it. That's something that you need to look at, especially
Yeah.
the consistency and how many times it's happening. So for me, my children, they don't really have a choice. Like if they've never done it, they need to do it. And then after they do it, then they could be like, "Oh, mommy, I don't want to do this again," or da 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 da. But before you've even tried something, you're telling me no. That doesn't work, because you're not opening up yourselves to different opportunities to be able to have an educated decision on, do you like it or not. But a lot of parents ask their children, do you want to do this? Do you want to go meet Timmy, Tommy? No, you're going to meet Timmy. Let's go. We're going to meet Timmy and Tommy, because you need to practice your skills, your social skills. Like it's not a question. So those are things too that we also have to do for, hi Jaden, also have to do for ourselves too. Like I know we say no you some people say no new friends, and we don't want to open up ourselves as we get older to different people groups and to different social groups and different ideas. But I think it's always good, like don't limit yourself in whatever age or stage that you are in your life. You can find a healthy relationship, and just put them into categories as to where you think that they reside in your life. But don't close yourself up because you're getting older or because you've been hurt a lot. And don't clump everybody in one, like, because so Susie was rude and disgusting to you and did you dirty doesn't mean that Carrie's going to be, you know, doesn't mean that Johnny's going to be. So I think that's where we have to sort of switch our mindset as Black women who have so much trauma. We need to break that down and we need to work together in breaking it down, you know? And that means approaching that person and saying, what's going on? Like, why? Like a lot of females, even in our grade age group, would say they don't have no female friends. What? At 40 something? And you don't have no female friend? Somebody needs to say to you, whether family because you don't have no friend, but family, somebody needs to say to you, you need to look at why that is. Because you have to look at it. You cannot just say, I don't have no friend and that's it. Even if it's acquaintance. Like,
Yeah.
you know, being able to have a relationship is a coping skill, is a skill that we all need. So
I
whether we're
agree.
10, 15, 30, 40, 50, 65, 80, you still need that skill. So breaking that down and being open to saying to somebody, what is what do you think, why do you think that you don't have friendships? Why do you think female relationships are difficult? And really listening, because I know we're so judgmental sometimes. We're so, you know, really listening as to why. And looking back and reflecting, the common denomination is me. You know, and if it's there's something about me that I need to
Yeah.
look at. That's my
Yeah.
mom, no friends, and she's 60.
But I
Yes,
feel like sometimes you, but
ask
sometimes
your
I feel
mother
like
those
you
hard
just get,
questions.
but sometimes
Ask
I feel
your
like you
mother
just
those
get
hard
tired.
I
tired of
agree.
what?
But I feel like sometimes you just get tired because, like you said earlier, like when you're younger, you have so many friends, and then as you get older, I guess the spirit of discernment is just active. Like, cut them off. Yeah, man, this one good. Yeah, man, keep
The
this one over
spirit
here.
of discernment.
Like, so
It's hard. Hans says it's
so
hard getting back
see
out
my little
there.
sister saying
Hello,
her
ladies.
mom's
It's
60,
you know you
right?
have to
Because
love getting older. That I find it healthy to expand your circle, net so much
Angie,
quality
fix your
people
face.
and mentors that really help
I'm
me
trying to
on the
take it
long
in.
run. Yep, it's me. I'm always overthinking things. Carrie, what is the red? What's
What's
in
in
the
the
red?
red cup? What are you drinking? That's what they want to know. What are you
Oh, why do
drinking?
you ask me that everything frequency promotion? You grow out of these people because some people aren't progressing in the direction you want to go. Totally, yeah. And that is also another thing, but processing it and understanding what am I growing out of? Like, is it
Right?
because you know, they are like too chatty, too gossipy. I'm no longer a gossiping kind of person. I'm no longer a bad-minded type of person. So that's why I've outgrown them. So understanding, reflecting in every relationship that is not like has left you, I think you should reflect upon. I do. I think you should take a little bit of reflection. Doesn't mean it needs to take up a whole heap of time and energy, but a little reflection as to what was my responsibility in that. And then keep it moving. Don't have to go back there and then tell them, oh, I found this out and this is why we're no longer
No,
friends. No.
no,
But it's good
no.
for you for your
Mm.
next situation, for your next possible friendship. It's good to reflect on what's not working for me, what do I need to change in myself to be a better person and a better friend. What do you think?
Oh no, for sure. You should always self-reflect, no matter like in life period, like you should always self-reflect. But I feel like a lot of people don't do that. That's why it's
Mhm.
even hard for them to even keep friendships and relationships and stuff because self-reflection is a big thing, right? Because you're not always right. And you should also be teachable too. So like
Mhm.
there's those people that feel like they never do nothing wrong in their friendships and stuff. But obviously if you always self-reflect, sometimes like right off the riff, you'll know if you're in the wrong or if somebody else is in the wrong if you're honest within yourself. And a lot of people are not
Mhm.
honest with themselves. Somebody a wise man once said lying to yourself is worse than lying to somebody else. And a lot of people be lying out here.
Yeah.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Agreeing. It's
Very
like
true.
some like they have the same issue with every single friend, and it's like if that's happening, what do you think the actual problem is? If you are always having the same problem, With every single friend you have, the problem is probably you.
Yeah, like the common denomination is you.
Yeah,
So frequency promotion asks is should your circle widen each year or decrease?
Decrease.
I agree.
No,
I actually think
says
that it should.
Angie, who's had friends since kindergarten or
I think it should
daycare.
No.
widen. I think it should
Okay, so
widen as we get older, as we get wiser, as we go in different stages of our lives. I think it should widen. And again, it doesn't have to be best friend. Bree, this is why you and Angie are friends.
yeah.
Self-awareness. Self-awareness. My dad was just
Increase.
telling me this. If anything, be honest with yourself. Totally, totally, totally. What do you guys
That's
think, though?
it.
What do you guys think? Because I said I think it should increase.
No, I feel like it definitely should increase, but like I feel like it should increase with like business and work wise. Like, okay, like you said, like you're gonna go to work, you're gonna make a couple friends, and maybe those friends might turn into like people like might turn into like the relationship might turn into more than just a work friend. So that in that case it's cool, but I'm not going outside and be like, yo, you wanna be my friend? Or like I'm doing your hair. I'm doing your hair, and then
Oh my
after
God, Ed. Oh
they're like,
God,
"Oh,
Ed.
you want to go out with me?" And it's like, "No, I just did your hair. Like, you're good, gone." Like, you know. But no,
Oh my God.
I think that would be a yes. You were not without like we're doing your hair. Do you want to be my friend? No, no. That's a beg friend. We're not begging friends.
yo. But you know,
I
like what
think
you said earlier, like you work with some people, and then eventually, like you have certain conversation. Like you know what, this person's not too shabby, and then you know they become
Yes.
more than just a work friend. You know, so for sure, increase is good, but with
Widen.
discernment, I feel like with discernment, you know, the
Yes.
discernment have to
I
active.
and I
Yes.
think increase. I think ideally increasing, because we always are constantly evolving. We're growing. We're learning. So I think it's inevitable that you're going to have some friendships naturally end, or they just have had their season. So I think
Mm-hmm.
as you mature, as you grow, because I do think certain friendships mature together, like you grow together. In any healthy relationships you grow. So I'm just saying, like, I think it's inevitable if you're really trying, especially if you're always if you're self-reflecting and you're looking at, where you're going, whatever. I think naturally, ideally, your friendships would increase or maybe widen a little bit, right? And I think it's fluidity. Like, I don't think it has to be necessarily, I started with five, I need to end with five, or I started with five.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's just a fluidity as far as like, what are these people, like, what are these relationships
Doing
meaning
for
for you?
me,
Like, how are they
facts.
helping? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How are they adding to my life and not taking away?
Yeah.
That's a big thing when I
Facts.
use I use that bridge, that like
Yeah.
that lining. Are you adding? Are you taking away? So widen
Exactly.
to
Fair
a
enough.
certain degree. Bree says as you get older, you want realness. You should want realness at any point in life. Beginning from the jump, you should want realness. Bree, it says quality over quantity. No Limit says increase. You have to love getting older. That part. Queen P says I just study people and treat them accordingly, but will cut you off if you cause me my peace of mind. Definitely. Anonymous Trini. Hey, Trini. Trini says, did I miss you, Trini? Trini says, can physical intimacy change a friendship between the opposite sex? Oh, well, you want to go into a different topic there. Frequency
That's
Motion
next
says,
The
week. I'm
part
just joking.
two.
that's
Part
part
two,
two. Yeah,
exactly.
that's a part two thing there, Trini. Is there a difference between friends or networks? Of course, there's a difference between friends
Hell
and networks.
yes.
Agreed fluidity over numbers. Yes, Benzo agrees fluidity over numbers. And yes, there is a difference between networking and friendships. Friendships, again, it is a title that I believe that if I give you, it comes with these things, comes with these qualities, these check marks, these boxes, and it's something that is you're adding to my life, you're not taking away.
Mm-hmm.
Networking is you meet that person when it's towards it's a give and take kind of thing. I'm giving you this because I'm going to get this out of you, or we're being able to thing. I'll be back for part two, Carrie. If I have it, yes, you can come back. So definitely, I don't think networking and friendship is the same. Is the same.
Yeah.
So Yeah. So anything else, ladies, before we sort of wrap up tonight? Or thank you guys for, coming out and having this conversation. I think it's well needed. It was, I see that the engagement has been pretty consistent throughout this conversation. So it obviously was a needed conversation for people to hear. Emotional deposits over emotional withdrawals, preach, add over subtract. I like that. Emotional deposits over emotional withdrawals. Preach,
That's
add,
right.
over, subtract. I like that. I do. I definitely think, and that's what you say. It does it add to your life instead of taking away. I'm making an application for all new friends now, and they have to be on probation for a year. This is your sister,
One
right?
slap.
This is your
Yes.
sister, right? Yes.
Oh my God, that's
Okay.
hilarious. Oh God, that's funny.
Okay. Yes, I definitely like the application process because vet them. Yes, yes, vet
Right?
them.
Seriously, exactly. Six
Totally
months
vet them.
probation.
Hi, Khalil. So, yeah, we're just, people are still joining. Thank you for joining, everybody. We're just talking about healthy relationships and what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it is to you, how it is in
Friendships, healthy
society.
friendships.
Healthy, oh, did I say relationships? Sorry. Healthy friendships amongst Black women, amongst Black people in general, just having that and what it looks like. Friend probation.
Uh,
application application for friendships are coming up.
Right?
Your
That,
sister
exactly.
kills me. Your sister's killing me. But yeah,
right?
so definitely this is what we're talking about, and we're just going back and like just having some great conversations with these women who have 20 plus friendships and have realized that boundaries are necessary. Let's recap some of the things that we think are necessary. Boundaries are definitely necessary. Cutting off people is definitely a must. Choosing your peace over friendship is always the best way. Anything else, ladies, that I'm missing?
Communication, communication, accountability, forgiveness, no
Respect.
non-judgmental, respect, ride
Mhm.
or die.
Yeah.
I think why
Like
have
past the
we
probationary period, you
You
know.
see,
why do you think let's wrap it off because me and Chantal have been friends for a long time. Why do you think our friendship still works?
Oh, God, oh God, you put me on the spot. Um,
Well, we're the only ones
no,
here that's been
honestly, I
friends for
think
a
it's
long
because
time.
just because of for those same reasons, is right. Like I think you've treated me the way I want to be treated in terms of like you respect me, you don't judge me, you're very supportive, you listen, you got my back when I need it. Um, and again, like, and even when we have disputes, it's probably like, in the next hour or so, then we're up and talk about something like it's not even that long, right? It's like we
Mhm.
say our piece and then that's it. Like we both take accountability for like if there's any like if one another hurt each other. Um, we've just so I think it's just building that friendship where it's become more than just friendship. What up, D-Lo? Hi. I think it's like I think this is one of those things where family becomes friends, right? Like it's just or over the time we've learned each other. You've learned my love languages, I've learned yours. And then when things are a little off, we communicate with each other, we listen respectfully. Yeah, and it's just I think that's what for me has made the friendship is that you've been there for some really tough times and it never felt like you're just gonna like judge me, you're not gonna go chat me, you're not gonna just fall off, and that you're gonna be there. And I think and I know, and I think I've done the same for you. So I think that's why it's kind of, and this is where reciprocal, like the reciprocal relationship has, I think, between us, and that's why we're still friends.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that those are I think the three things is respect, communication, and reciprocal. I like. Did I say reciprocal first? But
Respect, you
yeah.
said first.
Yeah, so respect, reciprocal, and communication. And I think too, once it becomes where we are no longer just friends, we consider each other family. I think that's where that I think that's the level where you have really mastered your friendship. So where you can now move that over to being considering them family and not just friends. So I think that that's for you guys, all your long-term relationships, whether they have to be, there's a question here that says, what's the most important piece of 20 plus years friendship? And I think that we just touched upon that. We just said those things. And for you guys, I know you guys are 10 years in, and some of you more than 10 years in with your friendships. What are your things that are holding you accountable to being a friend, a good friend, and having people that's going to continue to be your friend? Like, what are you holding accountable?
For me,
You
I feel
two
like
at the bottom here, you two.
I'm definitely looking for respect for me because uh, I've had lots of instances where there are certain things lifestyle wise that you don't indulge in, and then your friends, like for example, I don't drink, and then I'll have friends who like, or people who are acquaintances, I'll call them now, who'll be like, oh, do you want to go drinking with me? And I'm like, I don't do that. And then they continuously ask me, even though I've told you several times that I don't do it. But then also I have friends, you ask me one time, I tell you that's not something I do, and they respect that, and then we move on to something else. But for me, if it's going to be a thing where I have to consistently tell you something, okay, that I don't do that, then that's going to be a problem. And then you're switched over to the acquaintance category. Whereas people who will respect what I say and what I do, then you're my friend. And it's the same way of how I would treat them as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Ange?
Um, sorry, the question was what has kept the friendship
20 plus years.
20 plus
So,
years?
or 10 plus years. What do you feel are the qualities that are keeping it sustainable for you? Not for your friends, but for you. What are you holding dear to this is why I'm going to keep this friendship going this long or continue on with this friendship?
Um, like, well, who they are as a person.
Mm.
Like, I have to like you. Like, I just can't. You just can't be my friend just for being my friend's sake. Like, and that's why I don't have too many friends. I know a lot of people, but a lot of people aren't those a lot of people, not all of them are my friends. Right? Like I have my friends and then I know a lot of people. So I feel like the people who are my friends, like I actually like them. Like I like them. Like there's something special about each individual that like I like. And that's why like they're my friend. And like you said, the reciprocacy the you
Reciprocal.
know the word.
Yeah.
Like what I give and what they give me, like it makes sense. Like, you just like everything for me personally as an individual, like has to make sense. Like that's me. I always take my time to study people. And like you said, like what you said earlier, like knowing if they fit in what you have going on or if they fit in your life period, like
Mm.
all of those things, like I take those things into accountability before
Yeah.
letting you around me, going out with you, like allowing you in my energy period. Like I'm very big on that. Like, so I feel like because I like them the way I do is why everything has been the way it is. And because I'm real, if they do something or if whatever the case is, it's easy to go to them and be like, hey, this and this and that and whatever, whatever. And me too, I'm pretty understanding. Like, I'm so chill. Like, you can tell me, I don't know, you greased 10 niggas yesterday. I'm like, for real? So how it happened? You know? And
Exactly.
then, like,
Exactly.
and then somebody else can tell me, like, oh yeah, I went to church and I'm like, what? What did the pastor say? Like, I'm just like, I'm just down like that. So it's just easy. Like, everything is just easy. But like, I have to actually like you for you to be my friend. And I feel like that's what's kept my relationships or my friendships as long as they are. Like they know me, I know them, and we just floating.
I
I
love
like
that.
that. Down to
Yeah,
earth. Yes, I
so
like
true.
that. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining. What about audience members? What for you keeps your friendships going? I see down to earth here, and I see someone else saying that Okay, that's I already said those. Okay.
Yeah,
So
Chippy in the comments. That's my sis too. Like
oh, that's
she
you have
knows the
how many
vibe.
sisters do you
Like
have?
a lot. Okay, so Queen P14. That's my blood sister, but Chiffy and J Night Jedi and Bree. Those are like my friends, but turned into sisters. Like those are the
Hmm,
friends that I be talking about. They know the vibes.
okay.
Like, yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
it's like your sister blood wise, but sister friend.
Yes. No,
Trust
my actual
so
blood sister is Queen P, but everybody else
okay,
is like, you know,
sister friend.
they might as well
And
be blood
friends
at this
become
point.
family. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So Bree says trust and knowing that you can count on somebody.
Mhm.
Definitely that's a big thing. And I think when Angie said like I've had that too, like people take your kindness for weakness and they want to overstep and they want to, use that. So I think that's where you really have to have clear boundaries is because you have to be like, just because I'm kind does not mean that you can misuse it or you can abuse it. So, and
Mhm.
very vibey. What's very vibey, Angie?
Like I'm
What
just
is,
a vibe. Like,
oh, Angie's a
Definitely.
I'll
I
be
agree with
vibing
that.
you guys.
Definitely, you are a vibe. Very. Facts.
100%.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
I
So they're
love it.
saying
I love it.
Angie's a vibe. Okay, a vibe. Okay, I
Definitely.
get
I
it.
agree with her. I agree
I
with that.
agree. And you know what? It's so ironic that I've known her since she was a teenager and to now as an adult woman. And yeah, she's pretty much been real like this from teenager to now. Even though she was struggling as a teenager, she still is like still the same getting and she's gotten it together. So
Right?
it's really nice to see that even though and that's another thing too, like even though you change, you mature, you grow, your core is still, if it's
It's
good,
still
it's going to
solid.
continue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
For
it's going to
sure. Yeah.
continue with whatever trial and tribulations you go through. Your core is going to continue to manifest. Effort
Yeah.
is
Thank you.
important. Every relationship is a two-way street. So true. And what do you do? Like, oh, you know what I wanted to ask before I wrap it up is what do you think about opposites attract when it's your friend? Because you know how, like, a lot of my friends, they're my friends because they're like-minded. But I don't think I really have any friends that are opposites to me. So do you think it's the same thing as a
Yeah.
Yeah.
friendship? Can you have a
I have
friend
some
that's
friends. I
opposite?
have some friends that were opposites, and I actually liked it because sometimes when you're around people that are like-minded, sometimes you just want to hear like another opinion because you're like, oh, whoa, I didn't even look at it from that perspective, you know?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's like my
I
sister.
think
My
it's,
sister's
yeah.
always there's the only time my sister agrees with me, she doesn't even agree with me when she's upset. That and she'll be saying stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, so you do think like me? But
So
any other
opposites,
day,
you believe?
it's the
Opposites do?
opposite. Like, but I did have a friend, like, every time she gave an answer, I'm like, what the hell? Like, how come your answers are always so different? Like, it was so weird, but it's cool because it's like sometimes you want to hear something from a different perspective. Not that everybody around you's like, yes, man, or whatever, but it's like
Hmm.
sometimes you just want to hear something different, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I,
yeah,
I went,
opposites do definitely attract. Sorry, Amira.
it's okay. Sorry to cut you off.
Mhm.
One of my closest friends, like we're like complete opposites. Like she's always going out. I'm like always at home. Like we're just like we're polar opposites in lifestyle wise, but she is one of like the closest and most genuine friend that I have.
Because it's her heart. Like it's the heart. It's the
Exactly.
thing.
Genuinely
Yeah, so
agree.
I think yeah, so I think opposites can attract if it's yeah, like if you're opposite, like you said, going out and you're a mom and wife, and it's totally different. I think yeah, that lifestyle can make it be an opposite, but still be friendship, still be friend because it's the heart, it's the core things that keep you on a friendship level more. So Michelle says respect, balance, be fair, give as much as you take. Yeah, I like that too. Yes, it broadens your scope. So someone else is agreeing, yes,
I think it
opposites
depends
can
on
be.
what the opposite is, right? Like, I think, like,
Yeah, yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it's like, I don't think it's, at least for me, I don't think it's when I think of my friends, they're not complete opposites. I think there's certain things because I think for us to grow or to change or to just to mature, you do need to have people with different opinions, right? So I
Hmm.
think having different opinions and having different views of life and where I don't necessarily think that as an opposite because I think that still nurtures your need to for growth.
Yeah.
right? And I think that that's where we still connect. So I think it just depends on like lifestyles, absolutely. But I think when we get down to like what is the core, the commonality or the core of how we're growing together or how we're maturing or how we're flourishing, I think that's where, if we're looking at percentages, it's probably, I don't think it's that too much opposite, because I think
And I
that's how
feel
you
like,
get that vibe.
and
Yeah.
to add, I feel like sorry, babe. I feel like
It's okay.
understanding too, because me, like, I used to party and go to the dance and all that stuff, and now I'm on my journey with God and all of that stuff. And like my friend my sis Chiffy, that's on the live right now. She's big dancehall queen in Toronto right now, and I
So
go to my church and
does that
stuff,
mean
right?
she
But
can't invite you out to she can't invite you out anymore because you're walking your spiritual journey? Is that what you're saying? Like the opposites
no,
have
but
now.
see, she understands what I'm
That's it.
on.
Yeah.
So she won't be like, oh, sis, you want to come to the party, because she knows. Now, her birthday and stuff, I'll show face because that's a milestone. But she
Mhm.
does understand when I pull up over there, if I say 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes. You understand?
Yeah.
And she understands that. So I feel like there's just a certain understanding that
Yeah.
comes with it. Like, and obviously, if you're friends with somebody and they see that you're doing something for the better, I feel like they
Hmm.
should automatically
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah.
And I feel
Absolutely.
like since I've been on that journey, like all my friends that are around me that still do certain things, they won't ask me certain stuff. Like even
Yeah.
when I'm in the car with some of my brethren, they'll be like, "Yo, can I smoke in your car?" And I'll give them a
Hmm.
go ahead, or I'll be like, "Nah," or go outside or whatever. But like I just feel like there has to be a certain understanding, because if you're
Yeah.
doing something and they rate you and they respect you and understand what you're trying to do, there should be no problem, you know? And you guys can still talk. Toy will call me every day, telling me about the parties, them, and sending me her videos and stuff. But
Hmm.
I'm not judging her. Like, I'm not saying Ray Tay 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 Tay. And
Yeah.
furthermore, if I said come to church right now, she's coming to church, right?
Yeah.
She may go to
Yeah.
the dance after, but she's coming to church, you know?
It's the
So
balance. It's the
it's
balance.
yeah, like she
Hi,
understands what's
Toya.
up. So
I didn't know that
yeah,
was
Yeah.
Toya. Hi,
Definitely.
Toya. Um,
yeah.
So definitely, yeah, I agree. I agree that, yeah, there is, and I think somebody says here the balance, like, two same pieces
Hurry up.
can't complement each other. And true, the journey comes back to respect. Those are all the great pieces, and definitely, I think we all seem to have our mindset, which is so great and so understanding that, see, 4 Black women are on here. 4 Black women are saying we have strong relationships, we set boundaries, and we have great ties in the community as well as in ourselves. So if you're watching this later on, you can do it as well. Anything else, guys? Say your goodbyes, say your piece, and we're out for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. So
Thank
we'll
you as
start
well.
off with you,
Thank
Chantel.
you. Oh.
Give a little word, a little gem you drop for the sum up
Um,
the overall conversation, and we'll sign out.
that I'm just really thankful for the girlfriends that are in my life that are more like family, and I'm okay with, with cutting ties and throwing people out the boat that don't fit in my little
Yeah.
clique. But no, it was good,
Thank
and
you, Toya.
Angie is definitely a vibe. I like the vibe that's right here today. But yeah, I think as you get older, um, like when I think about my friendships when I was younger and my friendships now, like yeah, like there's no like time has passed and I may not talk to some of the same friends the way I used to back then and whatever. But that was because I wasn't really knowing who I was and who I am, and I know who I am. I know exactly who I am now. I've matured. I'm still growing and learning about myself, but I definitely know who I am for the most part and who I want to spend my energy and my time with and who appreciates my energy just as much as I want. Like we feed off each other. So I'm just thankful for the girlfriends that I have. I love them. Okay. That's it.
We love you too. Go ahead, Angie.
What was I supposed to say?
What do you?
Whatever you want.
I was
Just
just
a
so proud of
gem.
the
Just
message.
drop a gem from the whole conversation. Sum it up. What do you want to leave with the people? Then leave. What do you want to leave? The message you want to leave with the people? Then.
Woman want to live with the people them. Eh?
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. I think that.
Man, y'all just love yourselves. Love who love on you. Um, take care of who take care of you, and just stay
Mm,
solid, man. Keep it real. The fake stuff don't ever cut it.
exactly.
If you're gonna be anybody, be you, be real, and the right people will come along. That's all I have to say. Like, and your real friends at this point in life, you should know who your real friends are.
Yeah.
And if they're real, keep them. And I'm saying this from a real chick. You understand? So a lot of people didn't cherish me. A lot of people took me for granted and they lost me, and I know they feel it. Right? So I'm telling you today, if anybody's riding for you, if anybody's keeping it real with you, if you have some real people that genuinely rock with you, keep them and cherish them and don't do them dirty, because trust me, you're going to feel it. And that's all I have to say. Keep your real friends close, pray for them, talk to them, tell them you love them, and go
Mhm.
on study. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amira.
I would say, don't change yourself to please other people. Stay
Mhm.
true to yourself, and no matter what, like Angie said, you will find the right amount of friends. Because I myself, when I was younger, I tried too many times to like change who I was to try to
Your
fit
story's so funny.
I
in.
know.
Poor
I know.
Amira. Poor
I
Amira. She
know.
needed us in her life when she was younger, boy. And she's such an amazing person. She doesn't need to.
Right? She's so
She doesn't
cute.
need to change up for nobody,
And
you
I would
know.
have
But
watched that show and told you play to play
yeah,
what was on the show, so that I would have let you tell the story, how the show was,
Me
everything like
too.
that.
Me
Like
too.
I
Me
would have had your back.
Oh man.
but
I
but it's
will
so
say,
it's so amazing. It's so amazing that if you met her, well, you're meeting her today, you wouldn't know that that's the type of child she was, because she
Okay.
is like amazing woman now. Like even when she was my student, she stood up for herself. She, you know what I mean? It's so different, like where we meet each other when we're young to where you are today. So those people needed to go through those experiences to become the Mary you are today. So they were good for you. So go make them
yeah.
go on.
And one more thing I'll say is, don't ever say you don't need friends, because when you're applying for your passport and you need a personal guarantor, you're gonna need to put someone on it. So don't say you don't need friends. Everybody needs at least one.
Not the passport.
Oh my gosh, she said, if you need a
You went to the
guarantor.
real need. You went to the real need for a friend, boy. I didn't even think about that, but yes, yes.
Oh my god, for real. You can't leave the country without that shit. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Worse, how they ask, how long have you known this person for?
Right? They can't even tell you the eye color, height,
Oh
what
Right?
height
God,
they are.
so
Yeah.
true. But I
Oh, that's funny.
thank you, Amira. Did you finish, Amira? Because I didn't want to cut
Yeah,
you off. Did you
yeah.
finish? Okay, good, good. And for me, my message is just, just keep, like, I agree, keep being yourself. Self-love is the best love. Love yourself first, so that you know what you will allow and what you don't allow. And you just need one good friend. You don't need a multitude. And always do self-reflect, so you can be the best person you can be in this world. So thank you all, guys, for
Thank you for
joining.
that.
We will do this again, and
Yes.
For sale.
keep watching Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Convos with Kerry. If you have a topic idea that you want to throw to me, DM me. If you want to be one of the panels on my show, DM me. I'm always welcome to everybody popping on and joining in. So thank you guys for coming
So
But
on.
should we be
before you exit, Kerry, you're looking kind of spicy, The whole time I'm
right?
like, Kerry, look good today. Oh, but them
Always,
down the week there.
always the
Right?
glow up
I
is
love the
real.
blonde wig. I love the blonde
It
wig. I
Yes.
looks
love it.
good
The
with the
glow up
makeup.
is
Yeah, it looks
real.
good.
The glow up is
Mm,
real. The glow up is
It
real.
is.
big up
Let them
yourself.
watch you. Let them
What is
watch you.
it?
Yeah.
Yes. And just a thank you, Angie. And I don't like and I think
Uh,
that's another thing that we have to do is celebrate yourself. It's not no vanity here. It is really the glow up is real. And I love myself, love everything about me, and I work hard on me. So
You do?
thank you for appreciating it because I appreciate me.
No, it looks
So
really
thank
good.
you.
It does.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. And I thank you
All
so
right.
much for being here. Thank you
No
for being my
problem.
so
friend,
Kerry, you're
Jenny.
doing like an annual
I'm
thing
going
on
to.
17th or
I
something
just
like
have
that?
to no, I have to go back and check the date of the first one, and I think it's the 17th of November. So I want to try to match it up. So I'm gonna try
Nice.
whatever that date is whatever the celebration of a year will be. So I will be letting you guys all know. Look out for my post. I definitely want to celebrate this consistency and all the things that I'm trying to do, not only for my business but for our people. So thank you guys. I appreciate you all being here. Amira, I know with your four little ones, I know. Look
Oh,
at her. See, I just said it, and one of them's
oh,
right there.
oh.
She's like a
Jackie just
darling.
woke up
Oh my
again.
God.
There's
Aww.
one behind you too. There's another one behind you. So
I
cute.
know.
But
Aw.
thank you so much, Mommy, for being
No
here.
problem.
Thank you,
Have a good
Chantel.
No
night.
I know
problem.
you've had a long week, and I know it's a long night. And I thank you, both of you, Angie, for coming out and being here for me. You know, I appreciate you guys. You
No
know, I
problem.
love you, and you guys know I'm always here to reciprocate anything that you guys are doing for your own self growth. Okay, so
All
thank you,
right.
guys. Good night. Enjoy
Bye,
your
Good
night.
night. Take care.
ladies.
Bye. Bye, Mary.
Enjoy.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.